Alright, good evening and welcome. We are in Italy tonight, here at Monza. HPR Series action for you tonight thanks to MRP. So we've got the GT3 cars and GTP cars going around doing their qualifying laps at the moment, and we are here, as I said, at Monza in Italy, and really looking forward to it tonight. This is the Broadcaster Lounge. I'm Shane. Alongside me tonight is Corey. How's it going, Corey?
Yeah, I'm good. Yeah, Monza. Monza. We love it. I love it here. I went out and did myself a lap in practice just because of love. You know, it's a 5.79 kilometer circuit and DP racing circuit too. So it's flash, and my minute 50 lap was satisfactory enough for me to give it up and jump in the lounge.
Yeah, good to see you out there having a go in practice there, and yeah, very excited for what should be some great racing action tonight. Plenty of drafting opportunities and side-by-side action into some of those tight chicanes. Look at what we've got in store tonight here. There it is, HPR Series Round 8 at Monza. Autodromo Nazionale Monza, to use its full name. And we are on the full configuration. Track length is 5.75 kilometres, sitting at an altitude of 183 metres above sea level. Pleasant 19 degrees ambient temperature tonight, 54% humidity. Partly cloudy, should keep the track temps nice and low. Plenty of grip out there for these guys in that case. Should be some great racing tonight.
That's what we want to see, the penultimate round. So there's this round, and we've got one round left to go, folks, and that's it for 2024's racing. And it has been one hell of a roller coaster.
Yeah, that's right. Summer Series 2024, sorry, Spring Series 2024, just about at an end, and we're 6 days away from the magic day, the Gen 3 day, Corey.
Yeah, we're within a week. We're within a week, folks. It's, well, the 6 long days. And we're waiting for that iRacing video to drop of the in-car of them going around Pukekohe, hopefully. Surprise us. They love to do that.
That would be absolutely fantastic. Lou Robinson out there doing some laps. We've got all in for the guys tonight, so due to low numbers in GTP and some feedback from some of the drivers last week that they were a bit sick of waiting around for those three cars to go around and do their laps, we've decided to chuck them all in, and we've just asked the GTP guys to be nice and patient with the GT3 guys. At the end of the day, we told the GTP guys, if you don't get a clean lap in, worst case you're going to be third on the grid, so not too hard to recover from a bad qualifying in that class, as opposed to the GT3 guys. If their laps are interrupted too much by GTP, well, they're going to be right down the back, and we've got 14 guys that have set a time at the moment, and potentially a fair few around that haven't. Some of them may not be sticking around for the race, but we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, Darren Lobb currently, sorry, excuse me. Darren Lobb currently on a lap, hasn't set a lap yet, and on his fifth, and he's up there in the championship standings. We don't know who's where or what, but we can speculate things, Shano, can't we?
We can. He must be well and truly up there.
Yeah, I'd say himself, and we know Stefan McCartan. Bit of a sorry over the radio there in my ear. Stefan McCartan has got it sorted for the GTP class, I would say, and he's got a cool, just about 2 second gap between himself and Nico in the qualifying too.
Yeah, good gap there. As Darren comes to the line now, does he make this one count? Looks like no.
No, 6 laps. So there's obviously somewhere that's catching him out, or he's just out there just doing some race laps, which, and maybe he's just getting it off track just so the lap doesn't count. We never know. Change of car too for him tonight.
Yeah, in the McLaren. nice McLaren throwback livery to one of their Formula One liveries of the 2000s there.
Yesteryear, as it was.
Absolutely. Oh, he goes a bit deep into the second chicane there. And he's going to pull over and tow back to the pit. Still plenty of time for him to get a lap in. Nico Cordia out there, currently second in GTP, 1.4 seconds behind Stephen McCartan. And Jack Hintz just half a second back from Nico at the moment, but Jack and Stefan currently in the pits.
Yeah, had enough, maybe. Just park her up. Get all those necessary supplies, Shano, because of course it is an endurance round.
Yeah, that's right, hour and 15-minute race tonight, so the guys will be in enduro mode tonight. They'll be required to make a couple of pit stops, and they must change a minimum of 2 tyres at each of those stops. So we saw last time we ran this format that there were a few guys that went deep into the race and actually made both their pit stops a lap apart, doing 2 tyres at each stop, and ultimately getting 4 nice fresh tyres in by the time they made that second stop. So that was an interesting strategy and could be one that'll pay off. We'll have to see who, if anybody, employs that strategy tonight and what other strategies we might see going on out there.
Yeah, it is always about strategy, isn't it? And you've got just the 3 GTP class in it, so you have an accident or you go off track, you're going to lose ground, and it's going to be hard to make that up in a track like this because it is very fast and very hard on the brakes.
Yeah, very high speed. You can see all the cars running their wings very flat, basically minimum angle they can possibly get away with in those wings. Of course, there is a bit of a trade-off there as well, because you still need to have a car that's going to be nice and balanced for the corners. Needs to be able to stop well under brakes for very tight first chicane, fairly tight second chicane here as well, where you're approaching at high speed, and then from here on out the rest of the lap gets relatively higher speed. A couple of sweeping right-handers before you get into the fast Ascari chicane, and then the parabolica to finish the lap. And through this part of the track you do need a very well balanced car, so while you take all the wing out, you generally try to make sure you've got good mechanical balance. But at the end of the day, these GTP cars, there's no substitute for aero grip, so absolutely a fine balancing act to find that right wing angle that gives you a good balance while still allowing you to be nice and slippery down the straight.
Yeah, that's it. Now, it's just having a look at the timing, and the times between first and second in GT3 is very close. 0.19 of a second difference there between Nico Scholes and BJ O'Keefe.
Yeah, very, very tight. So plenty of time for that to swap around. Just gone past 5 minutes remaining in the session, so probably time for these guys to get a couple more laps in. Nico coming down towards the Ascari chicane now. Tapping a tyre in the grass, gets away with it.
Yes, Matthew Gerard now maybe going out on track. He's in the service, so he's lit up for me. So we've got another GT3 in the mix. And Thomas McCall and Dan Turner picking that they're probably going to come off the back of the grid, maybe start from the pits.
Yeah, so just keeping an eye on the sector times. Nico not exactly lining up the sectors here, comes across the line and doesn't improve his lap, and he's going to pull over and tow back to the pits. Should have time to do an outlap and get around to start one final crack at it. BJ on a lap at the moment. Similarly though, not exactly lighting up the sector times.
Yeah, looks like, who's that behind him?
Quinn Wilson? No, sorry. Looked at the... Oh, it is Quinn Wilson actually. So He's right behind him on the time. Oh, as there was
Steve
Steve
Darren.
Darren in the
Yeah.
background having a big moment into the tyres. Toes back to the pits. So BJ, as he goes wide through the parabolica, that tells me he's setting up to start a lap. So we'll stick with this. In fact, we could even ride on board. He goes nice and wide there to carry that momentum. Crosses the line, starts the lap. The control line's actually very early on that starting grid. Car coming out of pit exit to be wary of here. It'll be clear of the chicane by the time he gets through, and he should be able to get the pass somewhere through Curva Grande or down into the second chicane, although that car looks to be maybe pushing on. I think there might actually be Steve Darren just recovering from that moment we saw him have out there. But Brad O'Keefe bring that through Curva Grande and then on the brakes for the second chicane here. Steve's just going to jump out of the way across the chicane there. Plenty of curb through there. Unsettles the car, but you have to try and get it set up to ride those curbs as nicely as possible because that's the way to carry the momentum. And he's just lost the rear into the first of the Lesmos there and goes into the gravel. That's going to ruin that lap time.
Still
And
time though. Still time.
yep, still time. Couple of minutes remaining. He'll have enough time to get around and do another one. So not towing back to the pits, so that would tell me he's going to push on and have another crack.
Yeah, take it easy for the rest of this lap and get those tyres back down after that spin. Temp, sorry.
Jack Hint's back on track as well, and he's just half a second behind Nico for P2 in GTP, so we'll see if he can get some improvement and jump ahead there. Not sure if he's on a flyer at the moment. It looks like his second sector on this lap was his fastest, and follows that up in the third sector as well, so he is looking to improve on his previous best. We'll have to wait and see whether that's going to be enough to jump ahead of Nico.
Yeah, so she's all up in the air here as to where everybody is in the championship. But tonight, they're just racing for, they're still racing for points. So, yeah, strategy is going to be massive here, I reckon. And do you reckon the undercut might be worth it? Like if you're in a pack, getting in early, getting that first pit stop out of the way?
Yeah, potentially could be. With the requirement to change at least two tyres, there can be an advantage in tyres, although these ones do take a little bit longer to get up to temperature than what we see in the V8s and tend to hold on a lot better as well, so potentially even the overcut could be possible. Just as you were talking there, I let out a little bit of a gasp, but that was because Jack Hintz did improve on his time, didn't quite jump Nico, but 0.078 between them, so Jack's pushing on with this next lap and hasn't improved in the first sector, but still pushing on. And we will run through and see if he can get enough to jump Nico this time around. His first sector, while not an improvement on his own personal best, is quicker than Nico's best. Although Nico's just gone fastest of anybody in the second sector, so Nico could be on for quite a stunner himself here. Personal best in the third sector.
Yeah, it's very close.
Oh, he has a big side and hard into the tyres. That lap's gone for Nico.
That'll be a curse down. I had my first curse on Tuesday night too. I can't remember who. What might have been Bill actually. I apologise, Bill.
Oh, and Jack just a little bit slower on this lap than his previous one. So he'll start third, and that looks like everybody's actually wrapped up their qualifying now. Jack's going to be the last guy to tow back to pit lane. So that was an entertaining qualifying session, and very tight for a couple of spots there. Can confirm as well that Brett wasn't quite able to get the jump on Nico Scholes there, but just 0.019 behind, so very tight there, and that would offer the suggestion that we're going to see a nice tight battle through the race as well, as long as neither of those guys runs into any issues early on.
Just looking, Darren, some of Darren Lobb's sector times were pretty good, but it looks like he's going to start out of pit lane. So we will see that shortly, and we will know how many cars we're going to have on track. But 16 cars set a lap time in qualifying.
Yeah, 16 set a lap, 3 GTPs and 13 GT3s. I'd say we're going to have Darren sticking around for the race as well. Looks like of the other guys that haven't set a time, they're all looking like they didn't go out in qualifying at all, so they're probably not going to be running any laps as we tick over into the warm-up session. So this will be a chance for the guys to get some race fuel in the car and get out on track and see how it handles on race fuel. Also a chance to make sure that they've got everything ready to go for the race. Make sure their bladder's sorted, make sure their drinks are sorted. Make sure they're going to be comfortable for a long race. But BJ already happy, straight out of the pits and out to do some laps.
Yeah, warm up, eh? So we've, 5 minutes of jibber jabber more to get through before we're going to see some racing action.
Yeah, that's right. Of course, this is the MRP HPR Series. Massive thanks to MRP for their continued support, and we can have a look at a little activation that MRP put on at a McLaren event in Auckland back in COVID times. Have a look at this one. So that was a look at that activation that MRP put on, and very cool simulator there, and just a bit of a showcase at some of the products that MRP have to offer if you're interested in getting yourself set up with a simulator. Get a sim, put up MRP, talk to them and get yourself a simulator and jump in with us. We've got in the next few days we should have our summer series sign up form coming out, and you'll be able to get signed up to join us and race the all new Gen 3 cars on Tuesday nights, along with continuing to race some GT machinery on Thursday nights. But that's going to take a little bit of a new direction there as well. We'll be dropping the GTPs for obvious reasons. When you look at most of the season, we've only had 3 of those in the races. But we're also going to be swapping the GT3s for some GTE machinery.
There you go, folks. Doug and I mentioned something on Tuesday night, but didn't let any cats out of the bag. But you've heard it there. So GTEs are going to take over for summer. That sounds awesome.
Yep, seemed like the right time to let that one out of the bag. We've finalised everything there. We know how that's going to look. Stay tuned to see what race formats are going to look like. But yeah, GTEs for summer. So that will be a great opportunity if you are new to sim racing to get in on a slightly more level playing field where everybody's going to be in cars that they're not quite as used to as they may be with these ones. We know the V8 guys are going to have to be getting used to the new Gen 3 car, and these GT races are going to have to be getting used to the GTE cars. So should be highly entertaining to track how that all takes place.
Yeah, one of the older classes on the service too. They haven't had an update to the GTEs for quite some time. The GT3s have been having their time in the sun again, and it's time for the GTEs to come back out, dust off the old paint jobs, and yeah, get into the GTE summer.
That's right, and we're getting into a race session, so we can have a look at our race grid. So Stefan McCartan lining up on pole position for this one. Nico Cordia alongside him on the front row. Jack Hintz from third in GTP, and then Nico Scholes taking pole for GT3. Brett O'Keefe just alongside him on the front row. And then Quinn Wilson and Leith Swinney make up the second row there. And then we roll back to Blake Greenhall and Sean McNamara, Matthew Gerard, Chris Zalewski, Ben McMurray, Louis Robinson, Steve Darren and Daniel Hedderscheid rounding out the sixth row there. And then Peter Vanderberg, Darren Lobb, my name there in 15th, but obviously I'm here commentating. Daniel Turner will line up behind Darren, and then Tom McCall looks like he will be off the back of the grid. Corey obviously here with me as well, and Scott Pickering I believe has disconnected and has actually checked in on the comments section. Hello Scott.
Get on this track, Scott. Come on, you had a great race on Tuesday. You might as well carry it on. That taxi I seen you in.
Alright, so we are rolling off behind the pace truck now, getting ready for a race start.
Sean McNamara not making the grid either.
No, it looks like he hasn't taken the grid. We'll see if he comes out of pit lane. Sean might be a bit soft, can't handle this race.
Well, he's still in the chat down there, so we'll see what happens.
We will. Might have just been going to the toilet and missed the start.
That's a rookie mistake, that one. So I'm on board with Thomas McCall, and he's at the back of the GT3 class.
Yeah, that'll be interesting to see how he comes through there. Pace track leading the GTPs out of the Parabolica now. Peels off into pit lane and gives Stefan McCartan control. Oh, mate, Brendan Slingsby telling me how good and sexy I'm looking. Cheers, Brendan. And Scott was having FPS problems, but they're away, and are they going to go 3 wide here now? Jack thinks better of it, but Nico's been able to get the jump. No, sorry. Stefan leads them into turn 1, status quo, Stefan from Nico, and then Jack Hintz. A little bit of jostling around in the first chicane for the GT3 guys, as apologies for a little bit of a network issue that I've had there, causing all the cars to disappear. Hopefully that's a little one-off. But Nico Scholes has dropped back behind Brett O'Keefe on the start and coming under pressure from Quinn Wilson now early in this race as well. And then Blake Greenhill in behind, just putting a move on Leith Swinney to move up to 4th.
Quinn getting all kinds of sideways there. looks to be everybody's got through reasonably well. Darren Lobb did start from pit lane. He's out on track. Phil McNamara is not.
Yeah, so we've got Darren here at the back after starting in the pits. We will keep an eye on his progress. And just coming up to the tail of the field now, showing a lap down at the moment. That tends to happen when you get someone started from the pits, and it should correct itself momentarily. Blake now putting pressure on Quinn Wilson after we saw Quinn make that mistake when he was pressuring Nico Scholes there.
Yeah, look at that for a sight. They're all close to each other now, but hour and 15 minutes will separate the men from the boys. Do you think maybe Skype might be the reason for that stuttering, Shannon?
No, I think it was just a little bit of a network glitch. It's not really stuttering so much as I just lost the cars for a moment there. So I think it should be all good. But we'll keep an eye on it. Seems to be all right now. Louis Robinson sitting in P6 in GT3 at the moment, so a good start from him, up 4 positions. And currently a wee bit of space either side of him. We can check in with Stefan McCartan, who has, as we've come to get used to, run away with it at the start of this one, a second and a half already over Nico Cordia. Nico's got Jack Ince sitting just over a second behind at the moment. I think Jack might have just made a mistake because I think that was a bit closer when I looked just before I went to Nico there. Jack doing a bit of weaving, maybe warming up some tyres, maybe checking for damage, maybe he's hit a curve a bit hard.
Tell you what, the jostling going on in the middle of this GT3 pack is very good watching at the moment.
Oh yeah, that's very tight, and side by side through the Ascari chicane, that's not the easiest place to get 2 cars through side by side, and it's really creating a lot of congestion, spreading out here, looking to go 3 wide. So Chris Zalewski and Daniel Hedderscheid going side by side into the Parabolica, and then Daniel's been able to get a front with Matthew Gerard and Ben McMurray just behind those guys, and Tom McCall and Dan Turner even looking to get in on the act now. This is an absolute ripper of a battle pack here. We're going to get a 3 wide moment. Ben's going to think about it. Thinks better of it. Chris Zalewski just having to slot in behind Matthew Gerard. So hard to slot into that space as well when you know the next car is right there looking to sniff at any gap you might leave him. And it can be easy to trip over each other when somebody has a bit of a look down the inside. Blake Greenhill has had a bit of a moment out there. He's back going, but he has dropped back behind Leith Swinney now, so not too much of a drama. It looks like no real damage on the car, but he has had a moment out there and lost position to Leith. We can check in with what happened there a little bit later. But this pack's still looking very, very competitive at the moment. Ben McMurray sitting just in behind Chris Zalewski and getting a bit nice little draft here on the run down towards the Ascari chicane.
Yeah, Darren Lobb has made his way into the back of that pack there now. He's got around Dan Turner and Steve Darren so far, and he's on a mission, a 149 last time by, so that was as fast as BJ up the front there.
Yeah, so Darren just slides down the inside of Tom McCall. Tom not fighting that too hard, I think. When you got a guy like Darren with his pace starting off the bat and you're running mid-pack, you're generally pretty quick to accept that that's not your fight. But this is going to go 4 wide here between Chris Zalewski, Daniel Hedderscheid, Matthew Gerard and Ben McMurray. And there was a bit of a rub there between between Daniel and Matthew, but they've got away with it.
O-Fest.
And I'm sure Darren was looking at that going, oh my god.
Yeah, and I know how you pass it when they're already 4 wide. But we have seen the Ginge do that this season as well. Got a pass on the grass. Stefan McCartan's also done it this season.
Yep,
Let us know too in the comments, you know, is there anything you remember from this season that might be worthy of celebrating?
Oh, who's that off in the
back?
background? That was Tom McCall. He has found the tyres. So that was... Sorry, Corey.
Yeah, you're right. He'll be hoping he didn't get too much damage there. It looks okay though, doesn't it?
Yeah, it looks like maybe just some panel damage. We can jump on board and see what's going on with the wheel. Looks like it's tracking pretty straight, so yeah, I think we might have got away with that.
Yeah, the physics and the grass, sand slowing him down enough. And yeah, so he'll get a fast repair when he does come through for one of his 2 pit stops tonight.
Yeah, that was a nice, relatively recent update that you alluded to, although I think it was a few seasons ago now. It might have even been about a year ago that came along, where you used to be able to keep going full speed on the grass and through the gravel, and you'd slide out pretty quickly as soon as you hit the grass. They corrected those physics and they actually slow you up as soon as you get out there now, especially on the gravel. That slows you up. The only downside of that is it made it a lot harder to make the jump at the chase at Bathurst.
Yeah, so I was waiting to mention the Bathurst jump. Can't even get over there in a Pro 2 truck now.
Well, I've seen some guys make it work in the supercars. There's a trick to it. It's just not as easy as it was. Apparently, you've got to downshift as you go through the gravel and time those downshifts nicely and hit the bump a lot more accurately than you previously did.
Yeah, be a bigger margin for error, maybe.
Yeah. Matthew Gerard's just conceded to Darren Lobb there, so Darren almost through this feisty wee battle pack that we've been keeping a pretty close eye on for the last few laps, and he's moved up to 7th now in GT3 and looking to grab 6th off Chris Zalewski before too long. Chris moving across to break the toe a little bit, but Darren follows him pretty quickly. Does he make the move?
Yeah, I was just going to say, he's going to sit there and down that front straight, he's going to go again, pick him off before turn 1. He's letting him go.
No, not quite, just taking a different line to maybe try and discourage the toe, but I think all that really achieved was giving him a slower exit, and Darren slips him behind, grabs a little bit of a toe, and now he's going to be side by side as they get to the braking point. Stefan McCartan already coming through that GT3 traffic, so I guess there's definitely more of a speed disparity in a straight line than there is through the corners between the two classes, and this being a very high speed circuit has really highlighted that difference. And that, combined with the fact that it is a relatively short lap time as well, means that it has not taken long for Stefan to get into this train and having to fight his way through that traffic now.
Yeah, he hasn't got too many of them to go. He has 7 laps to get to the field. Is pretty good going. Yeah,
this is one battle that he's going to have to negotiate just up the road a wee bit. Brett O'Keefe and Quinn Wilson going side by side. Quinn's actually just been able to grab that spot off him. He was behind a bit more recently. We talked about the drama that Blake Greenhill had out there. We can go back and have a look what happened to him. So this is coming down in towards turn 1.
Excuse me, Shane. I'll be back in a minute.
Copy that. So Blake just going a wee bit deep under brakes there and having to take to the escape road, and then would have had to clear a slowdown, and that's why we saw him drop back. Interesting that my live timing highlighted that as a crash, but anyway, it was certainly a mistake. We saw that moment from Thomas McCole. We can have another look at that because we only really caught the end of it. So it comes through the second chicane there, approaching Lesmo 1. Oh, bit of rear locking. Tried to correct it, gripped up and just went straight on into the gravel and didn't actually get the tyres too hard. So on that replay, you can certainly understand how he got away pretty lightly on the damage. And Blake has since had more dramas. An off-track moment for him here. Looks like this is going to be coming down towards the Ascari chicane. Comes into oh. Well, he's been having some dramas with his wheel, and I would say that's what that was. It looks like his wheel's disconnected, and it's just sent him hard left to the fence there, so that's unfortunate. He's currently in the pits. He is in the channel below, so I think we can get a bit of a scoop on that. Blake. What happened? Was that a bit of a reliability issue there with your gear, was it?
Yeah, my wheel was just on the fritz, so it's the second time tonight that it just failed in the middle of the straight. So, yeah, I need to work out. I think was it Stefan McCartan who was the Sim Magic guru? Might need to go and see him and find out what's going on.
Yeah, Stefan was certainly able to help Wayne out with his M10, so hopefully he can point you in the right direction there. If not, MRP, they sell some wheels.
Yes, yes, exactly. I don't even know what a good mid-range wheel is these days.
Yeah, well, Sim Magic certainly have some good stuff. I don't think MRP stock them, but they do stock, I think they stock Simicube, so don't know if that's in your price range or not, but we have to plug the right sponsor anyway, don't we?
Absolutely. But yeah, no, that was a real shame because it was just tagging onto the back of Leaf there, and we were catching up to BJ and Quinn, I think it was. Yeah, it's a shame had with those gremlins tonight.
Yeah, definitely felt sorry for you when I actually hadn't initially caught the moment, brought up the replay and saw it fire hard left into the fence and thought, yeah, that's going to be some gear failure there.
Yeah. So it happened, once in practice. So I thought I'll shut it down, restart it, and then it's just doing this thing where it's very funky and gear-like, and then just fails randomly. So yeah, not the best, but it is what it is.
Yeah, certainly very unfortunate, and we do feel for you there, Blake, and we hope you can get it sorted.
Yeah, thank you, boys. We'll see if we can chat to a few of the guys a bit more and know about it tomorrow. Hopefully we'll be all sorted for Tuesday.
Yeah, absolutely. Last race of Gen 2, so you'll be keen to get amongst that, I'm sure.
Yeah, see that off in a bang.
Yeah, you're going to put it on its roof, maybe give us a lid skid.
Quite literally, a few bangs.
Yeah, no, extra points next week at Motorsport for lid skids.
Yeah. That sounds pretty good.
That's not, of course, that is not true. I made that up.
And how's the call been going, fellas?
Yeah, pretty good so far.
They're pretty drama-free, really. Yeah. Well, we got the GTPs of Jack Hinson, Nico Cordia in a fierce battle. So Nico catching back up after his incident earlier, I think. Yeah,
so Nico sitting 0.2 behind Jack. Did we catch what happened to? Oh yeah, we did catch what happened to Nico, didn't we?
Yep, I think so. Did he? He said to come through the lane, has he? No, he hasn't. He got away with it. It was just went off the track, didn't he?
Yeah, I believe so. So putting the pressure on Jack now. So this is a nice wee battle we've got going on. Nico taking a tighter line into that chicane and looked like that allowed him to carry a bit more speed. He's certainly all over the back of Jack at the moment.
Yeah, just waiting for that opportunity. And as we've seen already tonight, toe is real here with zero wing, a lot of toe and a lot of speed. Just wait for that right moment. Maybe might be better under brakes in some places, but these two were pretty close in qualifying, so and they've been pretty close all season by watching these two race, actually, haven't we?
Yeah, they have been pretty close through most of the season. Most of the time when the battles have been decided, it's normally been by a mistake one way or the other. So we've already seen Nico make a mistake and he's been able to get back onto the back of Jack and very close to the Parabolica, so I think this might be it. He'll get the draft down the front straight.
So we've had an incident with BJ O'Keefe. He's gone off track and he's sat there waiting and somebody's clipped him. I think it might have been Quinn Wilson.
Oh, Nico dropping a wheel in the dirt under brakes, so he wasn't able to get the job done there. So what have we got? Nico's in the Porsche and Jack in the Cadillac. So I wonder if the Cadillac maybe just a little bit better in a straight line. Looks like they're both running zero wing on those cars, so they should be at minimal drag. So I wonder if the Cadillac engine, the big V8, is just a little bit more efficient down the straights. Hashtag parody.
And yeah, and Cadillac getting into F1 next season too.
Yeah, they sure are. Or 2026,
26.
I believe. Yeah.
Yeah. It's
Same
almost,
year
I
as-
can almost say next year.
Yeah, same year as Toyota coming to SuperCars. So this is what happened to BJ. Just losing it through the first Lesmo and ends up right on that exit curve. Very unfortunate spot.
Keep watching.
Does manage to back it out of there. Oh! And then was that Quinn just running wide there and nowhere to go. So that's super unfortunate. Takes the front bumper off that Ferrari and he's going to be missing some aero there. Looked like mechanically he might have got away with it. It didn't look like there was contact to any of the wheels. Just ripped that front splitter off, but that does provide a lot of front downforce, so he'll struggle for turn there. He has come to the pits now, so he's going to get that fixed up. That'll also get one of his compulsory stops out of the way, and then he'll push on until he's inside that window to get home, which actually they probably are. For the GT3s, probably are inside that window to get home now, so he could even get his first stop done, get a couple of tyres, come back around and get the other two tyres done and get his compulsory stop cleared.
I would definitely come straight back in again. Most definitely. But of course they're out in the area. Well, BJ was out by himself too. There was a bit of a gap between himself and Nico Scholes, and yeah, just that little incident there. But obviously it's hard to tell how far off the road you are, so obviously he was off the racetrack, but Quinn running wide, so it's just one of those unfortunate incidents.
Yeah, absolutely. Like you say, he was well and truly off the road. He did everything right. He recognised that he was on the racing line and he had enough time to get out of there without going into the path of anybody that might have been trying to get around him. Did the right thing, but Quinn just going a little bit deep into that same corner and ending up out there where he happened to be sitting. So Nico's still trying to find his way around Jack, getting that draft again down the front straight, but again not able to get alongside before the braking zone. So despite having that draft, Jack's car seems to be working well enough in a straight line to be able to hold him off.
Yeah, he's been trying, and I guess you just got to keep trying, or does he come into the pits and take that pit stop?
Yeah, well, that's always an option. Clear air is definitely a positive in racing, and yeah, if he's been held up a little bit, he can come in, get his first stop out of the way, get some clean laps in, and then might find that he's able to jump Jack by the time Jack comes in for his stop.
Yeah, get that pass done in the pits. That was always a motto of mine.
Of course, sometimes it's just more fun to keep trying to pass them on track, isn't it?
Yes, some people are known for having, 4 or 5 car wide cars sometimes, though.
Yeah, absolutely. People like Bill Kilgour.
Yep, Bill, who's a hard guy to pass. New cars coming down the lane now, Shano. Matthew Gerard making his stop currently. Chris Zawalski's been through the lane as well. And it looks to be around, Quinn Wilson's stop time 13.8 seconds up on the jacks. So a couple of tyres, seems to be a couple of seconds quicker than the other 2 cars.
Yeah, so Matthew's got those 2 tyres done and drops off the jacks, continues to do fuel. I do wonder if potentially there could be a gain to be had if you're clever in the way you add your fuel. So just looking at that, we know he's still going to have to come back in and chuck a couple more tyres on, and I wonder if he's got all the fuel in the car, if that was just essentially dead time sitting there, where potentially if they had stopped that fuel as soon as the car dropped off the jacks, go, and then when you come in for that second stop, you can get the rest of the fuel that you need in the car, and certainly you'd expect to have at least less time sitting there just doing fuel. Maybe not completely covered by tyres, but certainly less time sitting around after you've done the tyres.
Yeah, it depends how good your pit crew is and how much they've practiced.
It does. So actually we missed the pass here. I'll have to track that one down because Nico is now in front of Jenkins. And looks like we've got the replay of it here. So it was down the front straight. He was able to get the better exit out of the parabolica this time, carried a speed advantage onto the straight, and then used that draft to just help him. They went 3 wide with the GT3 car, and then he was able to sweep across before the corner and get that job done before emerging into heavy traffic. And probably was quite fortunate that while he was getting held up, there was nowhere for Jack to go with that momentum, because I think Jack got to a point where if there had been a gap for him, he would have been able to take it and get that spot back immediately.
Yeah, Nico was clearly faster through the corners, wasn't he? And you see them still fairly close, just going around the second place in GT3, Darren Lobb, so he's made his way up to second.
Yeah, and as we jumped out of that replay and caught that shot, Jack was right on the back of Nico again, but then into the second Lesmo, Jack just had to back out of it and give Darren the line there, and you can see how much that cost him. So that is always the challenge with being in these GTPs and multi-class racing, is how you get around that traffic and how you can, you get those moments where it works out that it's timed in your favour, as it has been for Jack here, as Nico just had to hold up for Nico Scholes there, and they're both going to come into the pits now.
Yep, they're going to have that race in the pits that I was talking about. Let's see who's got the slicker pit stop here.
Yeah, so Nico qualified ahead of Jack, so he's going to have the first pit box. Locking up on the way in there, managed to hit his marks, might have just gone a bit far though, so that could impact his stop time. We're certainly also not lined up across the pit box as exactly the same, and it looks like maybe Jack's gone a little bit to the right of his pit box because he was longer on the jacks there. Sitting there doing the fuel.
Filling these things to the brim, I bet.
Yeah, and so the strategy that I talked about before with the GT3s probably doesn't apply so much with these GTPs because they have a smaller tank that they were able to start with and a requirement to add a bit more fuel, and Jack's sitting there considerably longer than Nico was, even with potentially a bad alignment on the pit box. I wouldn't have thought it would be that much of a difference.
I'll tell you what, we've seen Dan Turner in a GT3 come into the pit after these two, and he left before both of them. And I just looked, and 39 seconds down the lane for Dan Turner, 12.8 seconds up on the jacks. So that was a very fast pit stop for a man who's only using his hands.
Yeah, sure is.
Yeah, quickest pit stop tonight so far. Yeah, so 40 seconds up on the jacks for Nico Cordia and 48 for Jack Hintz. Well, that's service time, I believe.
Yep, that'll be the time that they were in the pit bay. And as I mentioned there, the GTP cars hold less fuel than the GT3 cars do, so they would have needed to add more fuel to get through the race. Ooh, as Kristolewski just had a little bit of a blink there, so his internet not completely playing ball. This is very busy here. Jack Hintz cutting his way through, and he's actually got race leader Stefan McCartan not too far behind as well. So Stefan yet to fit, but as a result nearly has a lap on Jack Hintz.
BJ O'Keefe and Chris Sawalski getting into the tow down the front straight here, and BJ on the mission to gain back some positions. So currently made his way back to 9th in class.
Yep, 9th in GT3, sorry. And he's actually been able to open up a half-second gap over Chris now as well. So BJ on a charge. Next in his sights is going to be Dan Turner.
Yeah, so the first car to come down the lane, see these two, it was BJ and Quinn after that incident. So that was their lap 10, and then everybody sort of flowed in after that. And what are we now? So half an hour in, we've got 45 to go, haven't we?
Yeah, that's right, 45 minutes remaining. Nico Scholes coming down the lane now just as I clicked on the battle for the lead because it was starting to spice up. It was looking very tight, but Nico coming to the lane, and BJ's already been able to get to the back of Dan Turner now, so this is looking very tight, and he's going to get the run through the Ascara chicane. Does he go for the pass here, or does he wait for the main straight? Looks like he's going to go for it.
He's alongside. Going to get him in the brakes here.
Yep, gets ahead into the Parabolica, job done, but Dan's going to look to fight back on the exit, and then he'll be able to get a bit of a draft here as well, although just staying out, and I think he's actually got an overlap without tucking into that draft. Small overlap.
Yeah, the Porsche versus Ferrari.
And then Dan just having to slot in behind as they come into turn 1 there. So BJ's certainly a man on a mission.
Yep, as you would be, making up some lost ground. And Daniel Hederscheid, the next car up ahead of him, and he's up 5 spots too, Daniel Hederscheid.
Yeah, he is. up 5 spots. Dan Turner's actually up 7 spots. So, second biggest gainer in the race so far. Biggest gainer in the race so far is Darren Lobb up 13. Yet to pit. He is showing 1 pit stop on the data, but that's because he started from pit lane. That counts as a pit stop on the SDK.
Yeah, Lou Robinson up 7 spots too, currently in 3rd position in GT3 as well.
He sure is.
Yet to stop too, so Steve Darren also yet to stop, and that will be the last of the GT3s. Lee Swinney also yet to stop, so look for them to come down the lane pretty soon, I reckon.
Yeah, well, it all depends a lot on the strategy they're running, so it makes it very interesting with the 2 compulsory stops while these guys can full fuel, because the GT3s can normally get roughly an hour out of a tank. I would hazard a guess that it'll probably be a little bit less around here, just because you do spend so much time on throttle, but still probably around that 55-minute mark before you're out of fuel. So plenty of time that they can still do to until they need to be in the pit lane for fuel. And then of course that will require them to make 2 stops relatively close together to clear that requirement, and it makes it interesting because it leaves so many different strategies where potentially you can have guys that have made both stops while you've still got guys out there that haven't made any.
Yeah, and it doesn't take long to get yourself well out of it. By staying out too long too, you might have a bit of an incident, and then you'd be wishing you come in the pits earlier, as we see Lee Swinney now in the lane now. Lou staying out. There's a pit wall.
Yep, Leith in the pits. Up on the jacks. So it's going to leave Darren, Louis and Steve as the GT3s still needing to come in for their first stop. Nobody taking their second yet. Steve does carry on for another lap.
Yeah, just there he is. Got the Mustang out tonight, Stephen?
Yeah, he has. I wonder if this is a hint as to what he might be running in the Gen 3s next season. He's always been a Holden man in the Gen 2s, but he's running the Mustang here tonight. He could be running the Camaro if he wanted to.
I'll tell you,
Corvette.
There's an order in for a Mustang and a Camaro jigsaw car. I'll be downloading the cars on the day they come out, like everybody else, and I've got to wait till the end to do a paint, so won't have it straight away. Race leader down the lane now, coming in for his pit, Stefan McCartan, and he almost had a lap on the other 2 cars, so let's see how fast he is through the lane. So he's got a 107 to beat. Looks like Nico Cordia is in the lane as well. It's going to take his second stop. Or did he get pinged for speeding?
I think it's been too long since his previous stop to be coming in to serve a speeding penalty, so I think this is Nico serving his second stop while Stefan's serving his first. So Stefan away now. Nico up on the jacks doing some tyres.
That wheel spinning?
It is.
Surely.
And he's away now.
Surely if you're in supercars you would have got pinged for that.
Yeah, well, luckily it's not supercars, eh?
No, it's supercars NZ.
It is.
2 completely different things that sometimes get mistaken for the same thing.
Yes.
Nico getting lights flash on, let them know that his stealth machine is on its way. So that's interesting. He's come through for his stop, and he's now 3 minutes behind race leader, but he'll get half of that back.
Yeah, that's probably not an accurate reflection there. That'll sort itself out. Quite often get some anomalies in the time gaps as people come out of the pits. So BJ's just made his way around these two, Daniel Heddershot and Dan Turner, the two Dans.
Yeah, so he's got 6 seconds up the road as Matthew Gerard, so it's a fair way.
Yeah, a bit of clear air he's been able to earn himself now. Certainly making good progress, and I wouldn't put it past him to get to Matthew there.
Yeah, well, it's getting to that time where everybody's going to be looking to do their second pit stop, and there's still cars out there that haven't done any.
Yeah, I've seen Nico already take the second stop, and Stefan McCartan's doing this strategy. We talked about it. Get your first stop done, get 2 of your tyres done, come back around and get your other 2 tyres done, and he's cleared his 2 compulsory pit stops now across 2 consecutive laps, and he's got to go to the end. He's got 4 fresh tyres on, and he still leads.
Yeah, by 25 seconds.
So I think it's going to take a pretty big mistake or some pretty catastrophic gear failure or internet failure or something along those lines for Stefan to not win this race, but any of those things is entirely possible, so we'll try not to talk too much about it. We don't want to put a commentator's curse on him for that.
No, but I guess he's having fun racing around these GT3 cars. It means he's got to flash his lights and duck and dive. Keep that excitement level up. And Lou Robinson down the lane now, Shano.
Yep, so Louis making that stop. Well, he gets his first stop out of the way. Just Steve Darren yet to make his first stop, and he's going to carry on, merge up to P3.
Darren Lobb as well.
Yes, sorry, thank you for that. Darren showing us having made a stop on my data, but of course that's because he started from pit lane. I talked about that earlier and I forgot about it.
Yep, no, that's alright. It's okay to forget.
So Louis makes his way out of pit lane, back onto the track, and he is now P10, right where he started.
Yeah, you can't complain at that, I suppose. Go and make up some more spots though now, so he's got fresh couple of tyres. And he came in 10 laps after the car in front of him on track too.
Yes, so significantly fresher tyres, but that being said, these tyres do tend to hang on a lot better than the tyres on the V8s do, so... And I was about to bring up that point as I clicked on this little battle, because Steve Darren had actually been closing in on Leith Swinney, and Steve hasn't made his stop yet. He's still on the old tyres, while Leith's been in and changed at least a couple of them.
Yeah, you just got to plot away here and just try and keep your head down. It's one of those tracks where it's really easy to make a mistake. Some of those braking points, and you got to go pretty hard on them brakes, and it's quite easy to spin in these GT3 cars. lucky they've got ABS, something that will be lacking next season.
Yep, that's right. No ABS in the GTE cars. Significantly more aero though, so a little bit of,
And pace, I reckon but they're
yeah.
faster cars, aren't they? And they do seem to feel a lot more planted on the track, that's for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. And I guess the other side of having a few less driver aids as well is tend to experience, or a common experience that you get in the GT3s can be the traction control in particular, often hampering your efforts when you're trying to correctly slide under brakes. Quite often the traction control kicks in very quickly as soon as the rear's sliding, and just ends up stalling out the rear end where you actually want a little bit of drive to be able to power out of that slide, but it doesn't allow you to do that, and it just loops around on you. And that's where we see some of those clumsy little spins coming under brakes in the GT3s.
Yeah, I find that happens to me a lot in cars that are mid rear or rear engine to me. I prefer the front engine rear wheel drive for configuration, which a couple of GTEs do, the BMW and the Corvette. So we've got a Ferrari as well, and what's the other one? A Porsche. I think there's four. There must be five. Oh, the Ford GT is the fifth one. I don't think I've forgotten any.
No, I think you covered them all off there. So things getting a little bit more spread out now. Nico Scholes running second. 40 seconds behind Darren Lobb, who hasn't pitted. And Nico's time down the lane was... Oh!
Matthew Gerard.
Matthew Gerard sideways, perpendicular to the track there. Rejoining now, bit of damage to the front end. Bonnet on that McLaren certainly not sitting flush as it would have been fresh out of the truck. And yeah, you can see the bumper pushed in a wee bit there, and he's driving around pretty slowly, so I think he is just limping it back to the pits. Fortunately not too far away from the lane where it happened, so he didn't have too far to go to get it back there, but there was certainly a significant amount of time lost nonetheless, and we can see what happened to him here at the Ascari chicane. Oh, just has a twitch, corrects it, and then grips up and sends him hard into the tyres, although
That's an
probably...
interesting way to go there.
Yeah, it is. Probably got away with it quite a bit light. Probably got off quite a lot more lightly than he could have there. Carrying a lot of speed, but hit the tyres at an angle where he was able to sort of slide down them a wee bit, as opposed to just having a massive head-on shunt into them. So yeah, got away with it a wee bit, but it did cost him some time. He had to limp it back to the pits, and he's got that fast repair now, got that second stop out, although actually he already had his second stop out of the way, so that was actually an extra stop that he's had to take there, unfortunately. So that is very much not ideal for Matthew there. Krystolewski in the pits.
Yeah, number two.
Sure is, and Darren still yet to take that first stop. I think last time we ran this format we did see Darren go pretty much until he was out of fuel, and then ran the strategy of doing the stops on consecutive laps to get those four tyres done across the 2 laps as close together as possible.
Yeah, that gap back to Nico Scholes now, though, has crept out to 42.8 seconds. So if I was Daniel, I would be reacting when he goes into the lane to do his first stop. Take that second one. Steve Darren also, so it's a Darren thing, running long on fuel.
Yeah, he is still out there, going around, putting the laps in. So BJ's moved up to 5th now, but I think some of that is those guys that have come in to take the second stop. He's still yet to do that. Just gone under half an hour remaining in the race as well, so over halfway, starting to get into the business end now.
The business end.
It's business.
Yep.
It's
That was in my head too.
business time.
Yep, that was definitely in my head.
Wee moment there for BJ. And I apologise to anybody watching at home that just had to put up with my singing there.
Oh, there was nothing wrong with it, Shane. It was alright. It could have been worse.
You sure?
Well, you can't sing that song seriously.
That's probably the only thing that was working in my favour there, to be fair.
Yeah, no, that'll be taken in all comedic ways. Wait, Darren Lobb is still circulating. He must be good on gas, eh? I wouldn't mind him driving me truck if I was a truck driver. So we took 30 laps. Well, sorry, no, he's only done... He's on his 27th. So, are they restricted for fuel, Shane?
No restrictions in this one, so they've got the full tank available to them.
Yep, so that what'd you say, that'd get you an hour?
Yeah, normally about an hour out of a tank in a GT3 car. Certainly every Enduro that I've done in a GT3 car, we tend to work the stints out as getting an hour out of a tank of fuel. But there is a bit of variance there track to track, of course, and this would probably be a slightly more thirsty track, so I would expect this to be just shy of the hour. Probably somewhere around that 55 to 58 minute mark, I would say. So probably within 10 minutes now of Darren needing to make that stop.
Yeah, so he'll come in, he'll get the amount of fuel that he needs, and he'll go around and do another lap and probably do it all again.
Yeah, I would think so, and he might even be onto it enough to talk about, to do what I talked about earlier, I should say, and cut the fuel off as soon as the car drops off the jacks, come back around and finish the fuel off while you're doing the second set of tyres, and that can potentially save him a bit of time in pit lane as well.
Yeah, so he's circulating at just over a second a lap, quicker than the car in second at the moment. So that's out to a 45-second gap. So that's enough time to get through the lane once, but of course Nico Skulls needs to come through the lane again as well, along with everybody else, right down to Ben McMurray. Chris Zawalski. He's the first car that has made it to a lot of pit stops for the GT3s.
Yeah, so basically what you're saying is Darren should be pretty much covered.
Yeah, he should be pretty covered. He very rarely gets it wrong when he's making those things. So you see Darren coming into the lane.
He sure is, bringing that Mustang down the pit lane, and Dan Turner following him in as well. So Dan making that second stop at the same time as Steve's making his first.
We'll see if he can beat 12.8 seconds up on the jacks this time. Lou Robinson in as well.
Yes, a slightly busy pit lane, 3 cars in the lane. And Steve gets back underway, and he was stopped in the box for 24.4 seconds. Dan Turner 20.5, Louis Robinson 12.9, so nice quick stop there for Louis.
Yeah, see some of the guys have taken their lighter load the first time and some are taking it heavier.
Jack Hintz in the pits now as well, clearing his second stop.
Yeah, that'll be all of the GTPs through the lane twice as well.
Yep, so that'll cleanse the GTP field. And he makes his way out now around the pace truck.
And Nico's got him.
He has, so 3 seconds at the moment, growing to 4 seconds as Jack gets up to speed. Probably going to get out to 5 seconds by the time Jack negotiates the chicane.
Yeah, BJ O'Keefe and Daniel Heddershide are both in the lane now as well. So they start to circulate through now, so it'll be interesting to see where BJ pops out all that hard work. And it's going to be pretty close with Quinn Wilson, I think.
Yeah, this one will be.
He's coming down the lane.
Oh yeah, Quinn down the lane.
Yeah.
Ben McMurray making his way past now. He's going to get by. So Steve Darren, I think Steve was ahead of BJ when he came in, but Steve coming in for his second stop now. So that clears that. And Darren Lobb in the lane for his first stop.
So maybe Steve took your advice. He's done exactly what you've said. He's gone out, done one lap, and then he comes to do the other side and top up the fuel. It should be faster pit stop than the last one.
So Darren makes his way out, and we should see him get out ahead of Nico Scholes here. About Nico, wow, every time we're talking about a potential close rejoin, the car that's coming up comes into the pits.
I think I did mention I thought the best thing for Nico Scholes to do would have been to react when Darren come in and take that stop, because you know he's going to do it again.
Yep, you called that one, and I'm just sticking with Darren because I'm expecting to see him back in at the end of this lap, so I want to see if he goes with that one, and then we'll be able to see what the rejoin with Nico looks like after that. And Darren's just had a wee bit of traffic to deal with here as well, which could give a little bit of an edge to Nico. Gap is currently sitting at 42 seconds, so it has come down a bit lower than what it was before the pit stop.
So Nico's out and through the first corner right now.
Nico having a quicker stop there as well due to the fact that he had already added most of the fuel that he needed.
Oh, we're about to find out if we called it.
Yes, so Darren coming down the back straight now in towards the parabolica.
He is, isn't he? No, he's going too fast. No, yes,
He's
yes.
in, yep.
Right,
And
I've
actually,
got Nico on the PMP.
Yeah, I was going to say potentially if you give us the onboard with Nico, we can get a good look at the rejoin here. We can see Nico coming through the Ascari chicane. Darren up on the Jackson pit lane. He drops, he's away now, so often moving, but he's got a long way, slightly longer way to the pit limit line. But Nico just coming through the final quarter now as Darren makes his way out of the pits. Still getting up to speed. You can see Nico on the back of the shot there, but there is fairly comfortable margin there for Darren, and he looks to have done the job, putting the nice consistent laps on that, and he's been able to get that one done.
Yeah, Nico did his best there to counter what Darren was doing without knowing exactly what Darren was doing. So good job. Ben McMurray down the lane for his second stop now. BJ's made his way back up into 4th in class, so that's a good effort. So he's done all his pit stops. Everybody has done all they need to do for pit stops, actually.
So Jenkins showing good pace after running the pitting on consecutive laps strategy, and 4 fresh tyres on the car. I think quite a bit more recently than Nico came in for his stop as well. Yeah, so 10 laps later than Nico Cordia, Jack made his second stop, and his first stop was just a lap earlier than that. So pretty much 4 fresh tyres on about 10 laps later than Nico. So that's giving Jack plenty of speed, and he's able to put the pressure back on Nico now.
Yes, apply that pressure. We're getting close to 15 minutes to go. That's currently 57 minutes in race time, so not far off. Oof.
Oh,
Daniel Heddershide and Lou Robinson.
Quinn Wilson and Louis Robinson.
Oh, that's what I meant to say. I seen a red car, didn't I? Yeah, it's just one Marlboro car out there tonight.
Yeah, it is. And another classic McLaren Formula 1 livery on a McLaren GT3 car. Pretty cool to see. This one from the 80s and early 90s, the Marlboro livery.
You're probably the most iconic one, I reckon.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that was those were the times, the 80s and 90s for McLaren.
And hopefully we don't get in trouble for not blurring out the logos on that one.
No, but thank you very much, iRacing, for the service that you provide us. And also, thank you to Napa Auto Parts. Not only do they look after the broadcasting lounge, but they're a weekly sponsor. So big shout out to the team at Napa Auto Parts in Christchurch.
Yeah, you read my mind on that one. I was just about to say that we hadn't brought that one up. So yeah, thanks Napa for backing the broadcasting lounge and for being this week's weekly sponsor. So as we come back to this battle, Jack is now ahead of Nico Cordia, and we can see how he did it. So through the Ascari chicane here, potentially a bit of traffic involved. They're going to split them. This is Schumacher and a Finnish driver whose name I cannot remember that used to drive for McLaren. Very reminiscent of that.
Raikkonen?
Not Raikkonen. Before Raikkonen.
Something big.
Häkkinen.
Oh, Häkkinen.
Mika Häkkinen. Yeah.
Is it Mika Häkkinen?
Mika Häkkinen.
Yeah, that's it.
It was very reminiscent of Michael Schumacher and Mika Häkkinen splitting the lap car down the straight at Spa into the Les Combes chicane.
I believe that was probably free to air TV back then too.
Yeah, it would have been.
I remember watching a lot of F1 back then because it was free to air. These days, sport costs us a ton, Shano, but you can watch sim racing for free right here, broadcasting lounge. So give us a subscribe if you can and a like. I'd appreciate you.
Absolutely, like and subscribe.
And we'll take a moment to mention an upcoming event there on the 18th of December, Shane. The first inaugural V8 Soapbox Derby, Gen 3 Super Soapbox, I think I ended up calling it. And we're raising money for the Cancer Society. So $5 donation to our link, which is in the community group and also in the Soapbox Derby. What's it called? Event that I have there. And yeah, so we're going to do Mount Washington downhill, 5 litres of fuel, Gen 3 supercars. What a way to break them in, Shana.
Yeah, that's going to be very cool.
And yeah, that's thanks to you guys at Supercars NZ and also Simplex, Stefan Adams, getting in behind it. So yeah, we'll pump the link out over the next few days and put it out there, and try and get some more bums on seats, but all us commentators will all be able to have a go, I reckon, as well. We can just roll with it. You'll have a go, Shano. Just give it a whiz.
Yeah, absolutely. Should be a lot of fun. When you first talked about it, you referenced the fact that, was it KSR had done it with the Formula Ford, and I decided I was going to have a go at rolling the Formula Ford down there, and it is a lot of fun, so I can't wait to see what it's like in a Gen 3 supercar. Dan Turner into the pits now.
He's already done 2, so unscheduled stop. I'll just have a check. I think that could be... It's incident points for Dan, so too many off tracks or things like that. So they only get 17 incident points. If you go hit 17, you get a drive through, and I think if you keep doing it and get to 40, you go for you just go home early.
Yeah, that's right. That was Doug's brainchild. Get to 40 incident points, and it's see you later, alligator. Louis Robinson soaking up some pressure from Tom McCall now.
Yeah, the only 2 cars on track that are within 3 seconds of each other. Jack Hintz and Nico Cordier are still close enough, but that's opened up to 1.6 seconds.
So nice bit of side-by-side action here. Tom McCall getting the run out of Lesmo 2 and down towards the Ascari chicane, but not fancying being on the outside there, just backed out of it. And he'll look to see if he can get a good exit out of the parabolica and then get the draft down the front straight into turn 1, or he's got a bit of a draft down here towards the parabolica to start with. He pokes the nose out, thinks about a move, thinks better of it, slots back in behind, and now he'll try and set up the exit, stick in that draft, and he looks like he's pretty close.
He's got a good run.
Getting right under that rear wing, pulls out past the pit exit. He's got the inside line as well. He'll go a little bit later under brakes and gets the job done into turn 1. Nicely done.
Yep, 10 spots, but I'm sure he passed me and you as well to get there.
That's a fair point. BJ, nice recovery up to P4 in class now. Still down 2 spots from where he started, but considering the dramas he had earlier on, that is not a bad result if he can hold on to that one.
Yeah, looks like he's got Leith Swinney about 6 seconds up in front of him, so wee bit of a gap, just a bit of fresh air, and closing in on 10 minutes to go now.
Yeah, not long left in the final endurance race for the season.
Yeah, and just one more to go. One more to go for everybody.
Yeah,
of course, the season's already into its final week now. And, of course, you said it earlier, Shane, 6 more days to Gen 3.
Yeah, that's right. So iRacing season is now in its final week. 13 weeks this season, so that's confused a few people on the iRacing community page on Facebook. People were expecting week 13 to already be happening now. Technically it is, but week 13 this season is actually a regular week of racing, and then we go into week 14 next season, which will be when the updates come out, and the week itself will start on Tuesday, and then the new season build will drop on Wednesday, and that's when we get to get our grubby little hands on that shiny new Gen, or those shiny new Gen 3 V8 Supercars.
Yeah, the first thing I'm going to do, Shane, is take one up Mount Washington and try it. There will be some practice sessions go up over next week as well. Just to get a little bit of practice and get out there and have a bit of fun. And of course, if you do have to purchase the track and you come and race, the SuperCars NZ have got some iRacing bucks to give away, and we'll cover the track. So there'll be a few of those to give away. So it'll be the price of the track, which I think is about 14 bucks or something American, isn't it? So it works out to be just over 20 bucks New Zealand dollars. Close anyway.
Yeah,
Depends on the currency at the time, doesn't it?
that's right, and it is a cool wee track as well. Not a lot of races happen there just due to the fact that it is a point-to-point track, but a lot of fun to jump in some rallycross cars and try and get up there as quickly as you can, and a lot of fun to jump in just to view everything, take all the fuel out and see how quickly you can roll it down.
Yeah, one favourite of mine is the BMW GT4. That's great fun driving up there. It's not overly fast, but it seems to stick to the road. A lot of fun. But yeah, of course, going down. Yeah. So you got 5 litres of fuel, and I'm guessing you're probably going to have to use a little bit of that to get yourself out of mischief.
Yeah, absolutely. And of course, you've got a small gravel section in that as well, which I found very challenging in the Formula Ford, which has a grooved tyre on it as standard, so they just run an all-purpose tyre on that. But I do wonder, we're expecting the Gen 3 to come out wet racing enabled, so wet tyres available for that. I do wonder if wet tyres might be the way to go to try and handle that gravel section. I imagine doing that on slicks is going to be extremely challenging.
Yeah, I think you're right. It definitely will be, because that BMW had slicks on it, and when you got to that on the uphill, it was hard enough. So coming down, you've got to be able to brake, and obviously no friction, or a lot of friction, and gravity.
Yeah.
Gravity. It's a pretty amazing place, though, and they've done a good job of it. It's really fun. I'd like to see Pikes Peak or something make its way into the service.
Yeah, absolutely. Pikes Peak, an absolutely iconic hill climb track.
So we see BJ here. He's on that recovery mission. He's eating into left winning marginally each lap at the moment. So just over half a second, well, around about half a second quicker in that last lap for BJ over Leith's, but he's running out of time. So we're nearing on 5 minutes to go now.
Yeah, not long to go at all now. Steve Darren potentially has a chance to grab a spot late in the race. He's just closing in on Matthew Gerard now. Managed to get that gap just under a second. Sitting at 0.79 now, hovering around that 0.8 margin.
Yeah, quite interesting. The only car we've lost tonight was Blake with that technical error with his machinery.
Yeah, wheel failure unfortunately there for Blake, which definitely feel his pain. That's a frustrating thing to have happen, and as soon as I saw that on the replay I knew straight away what had happened, and he's been having some issues with that wheel over the last few months now, being quite notchy at times and having the occasional disconnect, and that's let him down tonight, so hopefully he can get that sorted or can get himself a good deal on something to replace it.
Yeah, well, there's plenty of sim retailers out there, but MRP are our sponsor tonight, so that's the only one I can suggest. That's only fair.
Yep, absolutely. As I said to him, there's plenty of good sim magic gear that he could replace that with, but MRP don't stock that, and we've got to plug the sponsor, so just hit up MRP and see what they've got.
Yeah, I'm sure Barry would look after anyone that that support SuperCars in the way Blake has, because he's been around since the start pretty much, and he's been somebody that just turns up on the day and has a lot of fun. So pretty sad that he can't have a lot of fun tonight, and he's going to have to dig into his pocket to replace a wheel. But that is grassroots motorsport these days, isn't it? You don't have to fix your car, you just got to get some more sim products, and they're readily available these days.
Yeah, that's right. Although the wheel is one of the more expensive parts of the sim setup, or at least if you wanted to get something decent, you can always cheap out and go Thrustmaster and not spend a huge amount of money, or Logitech. But yeah, if you don't have direct drive, you are definitely losing out, at least on a bit of experience. We do see Leon and Dion able to do very well on belt-driven wheels.
Yeah, I am a firm believer that the pedals are the most important part of your sim. So I've had the pleasure of using a $5,500 pair of hydraulic pedals that were absolutely amazing, and I'm currently using Logitech, and they are mediocre at best. I won't run them down because they're a great beginner's product, and a lot of people out there make that mistake of buying something cheap and finding themselves in the rabbit hole that is sim racing, and all of a sudden their sim rig owes them a decent new car.
Yeah, absolutely. I went down that path of going Thrustmaster to start with, and to be fair, I've still got Thrustmaster pedals, but I do actually rate the TLCMs. They're a load cell, and that's the important part. Not going to be good, not going to be as good as if you spend the money on something like Sprints, but for what they are, for the price point of them and the fact that they are actually a load cell, they're very quality.
Yeah, 100%. They're a decent pedal too, and I've just got the Logitech pedals, like I said before, and I've used a bit of Kiwi ingenuity and shoved a squash ball in behind it, and made the pedal a lot harder.
Yep, heard of people doing that. So Nico has got some pace back after we saw him lose that position to Jack, and putting the pressure back on late in the race. Not too long to go now. Stefan's just started another lap, so I think they'll get this one in, and I think this is going to be the final lap actually. I think they'll get this one in, and that will be it. And Nico timing this to perfection, makes the pass, goes deep though. Jack's going to be able to get him back on the exit and gets that drive and gets away from him.
Cool on. Wait till the end of the race and yeah, get close. That's something we've seen a lot this season.
Absolutely, and these guys look like they're going to give us a highly entertaining battle on the last lap. Just ticking inside that 30-second to go marker, and Stefan is just over halfway through the lap, so I don't think he's going to get there before the end of this one. I think what would be ideal here, Corey, is if you can keep an eye on this battle for me, and then I can jump to Stefan as he's going to be coming across the line. So time is up. Stefan coming through the parabolica now. And Stefan gets the job done, takes the win. Looks like Jack Hintz is going to be able to... Oh, has he got hold up by the traffic there? He's able to get around and he gets to the line for second. Nico coming home third, but that was very tight there. And meanwhile, Darren Lobb making his way around now. He should have this one wrapped up for GT3, but he's got almost a full lap to do yet, just because of his position when Stefan came across the line.
Yeah,
Daniel Scholes has, sorry, Nico Scholes has already crossed the line to claim P2, and Leith Swinney has just come across the line to claim third there. BJ missing out on the podium, but a good recovery to get back to P4 there after his earlier dramas. Oh, bit of post-race antics there. The expression session begins as soon as you cross the finish line, doesn't it?
I was hoping to get a lid skid.
So with Nico having already crossed the line for P2 in GT3, it basically means Darren just has to cruise to the line at this point. As long as he crosses the finish line, he will take the win. And he is just cruising it around now, isn't he?
Yeah, he knows. Oh, there's still a few cars on track. Everybody's finished.
Yes, so Darren, actually the last guy to take the checkered flag in the end, but wins GT3. So funny how the results can work out a bit like that in the multi-class stuff. But very good performance by Darren there. Started from the back, didn't set a qualifying time, and came all the way through. And we got some rubber burning very aggressively by some of these guys here. Tom McCall setting up plenty of smoke signals down at that first chicane. Just be careful about driving the wrong way there, guys. Tom got caught out on that on Tuesday night. Dan Turner might be in a little bit of danger there. Take it easy, Dan. Be careful. You can still get disqualified for driving the wrong way if you go too far in the opposite direction.
Those tyres feel it. I actually watched Dan on Sunday and Brad's Full Contact series, and I messaged him on Monday and I said, "How's that go for you?" You know, he said it's not too bad. He said it was easier to drive on dirt with those little cars than it was to drive the V8 supercar. He said those cars are the hardest ones to drive for those guys on the hand controls. Of course, Dan and Rydoff Jenkins are disabled drivers in the league, and they're not shy of showing us that their disability doesn't mean much when you chuck them in the virtual world, because they're up there fighting for every position they can, and I absolutely love to see that.
Yeah, that's right. So we've got a couple of drivers in the waiting room for us, and they had a pretty epic battle, so I think we'll talk to them both together.
Balance.
Jack and Nico. Jack, you were just able to hold Nico off there at the end, but that was a pretty feisty battle towards the end there.
Battle for the ages, mate.
Battle for the ages, that's for sure. That was mega fun.
Yeah, that was very, very intense. Definitely the best battle all season.
Yeah, definitely.
So we picked it up shortly after you made your final stop there, Jack, and you'd made your two stops close together, and that final stop done 10 laps later than Nico. Was fresh tyres a factor there and being able to put the pressure on him there?
I was hoping so. I was trying to factor that in. I thought I'll take two at the first and then take a full set and just go for it.
Yeah, I did something very similar. I took two tires on stop one, and I did the front, and then I had no grip on the rear, and then I spun out. I had no rear end basically coming out of corners. It was just all over the show. And then after I spun, I just pitted for fresh tires, full set, fuel to the end, and then looking at my relative on SimHub, I had 14 laps remaining, and I was going to be 3 liters of fuel short.
Oh,
So I started fuel saving, and then the gap just closed and closed, and I just saw Jack coming close. And when that last lap with Jack right behind me, I still had 1.5 liters that I had to save. it was to the wire.
well, that's insane. So were you helped then by the fact that Jack was able to get past you and you were able to just slot into a slipstream then?
Yeah, definitely. As soon as him and that one go past, I try to just stay as close as I can without lifting too much because I was coasting into every high braking corner. I was just lifting off 200 meters before the corner just to save some fuel. And then on the last lap, I had to go into attack mode, missed the braking marker into turn one, but it was an epic battle. I really enjoyed that.
Yeah, we kept an eye on it through that final lap. We had the picture-in-picture up as I had Stefan coming across the line on the main screen. Corey was keeping an eye on you on the picture-in-picture, and really gave a good product to see you coming across. And it looked like traffic was almost going to be a factor there, but you just managed to get around the GT3 car there, Jack, in time.
Yeah, that was. I was hoping.
It was certainly tight and highly entertaining. You guys have anybody you want to shout out tonight?
I'll go
I'll let.
first.
Yeah, you go first.
Well, obviously tonight I was running a full out blacked out livery. And my shout out is just to the boys at ANZ It's been an absolute phenomenal 5 years with the team, and now it's I've moved on and starting something new with new livery and new team. Uh, the big announcement will obviously come in the next couple of weeks. But yeah, it's just a big shout out to them. You know, they do phenomenal stuff as well with team morale and supporting all the drivers. So yeah, just big shout out to them, and obviously to you boys up in the box doing this call. So yeah, looking forward to watching it as always.
Awesome. Cheers, Nico and Jack.
Yeah, just shout out to the boys at PSR, all the support as usual. Safety First Tauranga, Stenmore Road Auto Parts, Racing Creative. Always going to rep that.
Absolutely. Awesome. Cheers, guys. Have a good one.
Thank
Thank
you very
you.
much. Cheers.
Alright, so that just about does it. We can confirm the results here. So Stefan McCartan taking the win by a lap over Jack Hintz in the end. So an absolutely dominant performance from Stefan. Jack Hintz there in second from Nico Cordia. That was an epic battle for P2 and P3 there. And then Darren Lobb taking out GT3 class from Nico Scholes, Leith Swinney rounding out the podium there. And then Brett O'Keefe, Daniel Hedderscheid, Chris Zalowski and Tom McCall. And then we can run back to Louis Robinson, 11th overall, Dan Turner, Ben McMurray, Quinn Wilson, Matthew Gerard and Steve Darren rounds out the finishes. Blake Greenhill unfortunately running into some technical dramas and not able to make it to the end. So that wraps up our night of racing here. And what a night it was. Plenty of entertaining battles on track. Oh, as we've just lost the camera feed there. Apologies for that, but yeah, thanks to MRP for your ongoing support of the HPR series, and of course Napa Auto Parts sponsoring the Broadcasting Lounge and also sponsoring this week's racing at SuperCars NZ. And thanks to iRacing for providing us this amazing platform to go racing on every night of the week just about, and bring you plenty of action at home through the Broadcasting Lounge on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Thanks, Corey, for putting up with me tonight.
You're all right, Shane. You're all right. We got it done, and we've only got one more round to go, Shane. So we will see everybody back here in the Broadcasting Lounge on Tuesday for the final round of the V8s, and again on Thursday. I know the track. I had already looked tonight, so I knew what to say, and it's completely gone. We'll be doing something.
Yeah, so Tuesday will be at Mosport, and then Thursday for our final race of the HPR series as it looks at the moment will be Daytona International Speedway on the road course.
Yes, I knew that. But that's
Alright.
awesome.
Yeah, very cool. So thanks everybody at home for joining us, and we will see you at Mosport on Tuesday.